Ooh, that looks tasty.
Hey, great tree. I can see something shiny on that hill over there. I'm going to go on a great big adventure to go find it. Oh, I'm so excited. Even though I might have to be really brave, I'm going to be the best bunny I can.
Welcome, folks, to the Hunger Gamers back with another Kickstarter preview. And today we are talking about Eila and Something Shiny, designed by Jeffrey CCH, with art by Roxy Dye, and published by Ice Makes. Now, before I get any further, let me just remind everyone to turn on their Klingon subtitles, because if I make a mistake in the rules explanation, that is where you'll find the corrections. In addition, I do need to point out that this is a prototype, a demo version, so everything is subject to change. I'm also going to quickly point out that the base game is not going to come with this mat. This is part of what they were sending out to reviewers. The base game will actually come with these two cards that would go down on the bottom of your setup. And thank you to Antagonizing Anna Marie for the voiceover introduction today. And then the last thing I have to say is a big thank you to Barrett from Meet Me at the Table, who introduced me to this and actually sent his review copy on to me. If you look down in the description, you can actually find links to a playthrough that he did of the Chapter 0 tutorial if you want to see how that works. Now, Eila and Something Shiny is a story-building adventure game in which you are taking on the role of Eila, this little bunny, on her adventure to find out what the shiny thing that she sees in the distance is. And this will play out over several chapters. And in each chapter, there will be a little comic book that gives you kind of the idea of what has happened in that chapter you've played through. The way I view it, you play through your chapter, making the choices that you want, but at the end of the day, this is the canon story. And either way, you will have played this, but the choices you make in the middle might be a little bit different. Once you get into the actual chapters, there's actually one before you start, and then one when you finish. But I will not open these because I don't want to spoil anything. If you're not interested in how this game is played and just want to jump ahead to my final thoughts, then you want to jump to the timestamp on the screen right now. For those of us still here, let's talk about what we see in front of us. We have over here, we have what are called the habit cards. These are cards that you can get that will continue on with you throughout all of the chapters. You carry those with you. Over here we have a stack of various tools, and again, these are things that when you find them, you will carry them on with you from chapter to chapter. Here we have the upcoming cards that are happening day to day. And every time you've used all of these cards, you will advance to a new day. And I'll talk about what you have to do there in just a minute. And each one of these cards has a little bit of story and a choice that you're going to have to make. And I'll talk about how that works in just a minute. Then we have two other cards, and I've actually put them on the wrong side. These go over here, and then these go over here. As you play through, sometimes a card will tell you to add a red card with a number into your active stack here, and you'll literally take it. If I was told to add number 9, I would take it and put it right in the front. It would be the next thing that I see. Or these blue cards, in which if you do that, you add them down here into what's called the future. And I'll explain what the future means in just a second. Now, each chapter has a different goal. In this little tutorial one that I have set up, the goal is to get to knowledge. If you can get to knowledge before you've either run out of health or run out of time, you win the game. After you have gone through and finished this deck, that is the end of a day. At the end of the day, here's what you do. You can put 1 or 2 up there. So if you have 2 knowledge already, you can just put it up there and you've won. Or if you only have 1, you can put 1. As you progress through the story, it's more and more things you have to get, so that only putting 1 or 2 up there matters. Then you have to spend an energy. You spend all day doing stuff, you have to spend an energy. And so you would take an energy and place it right there. And if you did not have an energy, or you could not make an energy, I'll tell you how you do that in a minute, you would take one of your health and you would slide that over there. Then you would reshuffle all of the stuff over here into the deck and place it there. And then you would start your new day. As you play, you'll be gathering resources, and the game is broken down into two resources. There's concrete resources and there are abstract resources. Your concrete ones are food, which are your little carrots, and are orange. You have money, which is your yellow, and you have magical stones, which is your purple. At any time, you can have up to 8. If you wind up getting your entire little inventory full, you are always able to trade stuff out as you go. So if I had this, and then I suddenly got 2 more food, well, I could, if I wanted, get rid of 2 money and replace that with food if I wanted. The same thing is almost true over here, where you have energy, which is the green, you have knowledge, which is the blue-gray, and then you have fear, which is the brown. Again, you can only carry 8 of these. However, fear is something that you cannot just get rid of. Only certain cards will allow you to get rid of fear. The other things, you're always able to trade one out for another. Additionally, you'll see there's some conversions here. You can always convert resources to other kinds of resources. You can always take 2 food and turn that into 1 energy. You eat your 2 carrots, now you're more energized. And you can turn 6 knowledge into a magical stone. Now, let's talk about how you do all of this. So, what's going to happen is at the start of your turn, you will pull the first card in the deck. And I'll show you a couple of these. This is the tutorial, and these would literally be the first 2 cards that you would see in the game. And you flip it over, and we have the Great Tree's Concern. So you have your art there, and it says, the forest is full of surprises. Do you want to go on an adventure? Well, now we have a choice. We can do, I want to stay near you, in which case, the tree will give us a carrot to eat, and we hang out with the tree. So if we do that, we would get +1 carrot, and this would move over here. You can see the arrow here. Would move over here into the future, and we would wind up seeing that again. Or the other choice is we could say, sure, we want to go on an adventure. So we would not get the food. We would get card number 6, and we would place that into the future. And this, you can see the arrow, would go into the past, and we will not see that card again this game. Then we would go, and we would draw the next one. And again, we have a choice, the Great Tree's Company. We can either play with the Great Tree or talk to the Great Tree. So let's just say we're going to play with the tree. We would gain an energy, as you can see there, and then this would go into the past, like so. Then we draw another one, carrot harvesting. And we can either harvest with our bare hands, in which case we would get 1 food, or if we had some tools from up here, we would be able to gain 3. Now we don't have tools, but either way, this goes over into the future. Now sometimes you'll have cards that you have a choice. You can send it to the future, or you'll see it again, or you can send it into the past. Now I'm not going to go through the rest of these cards here, but let's just say that we finished our day like this. So the day is done, and we'll say that we finished like this. So our day is done. First thing we have to do is, do we want to put something up there? Yes, we do. We have a knowledge. We put it up there, and we're halfway to winning this chapter. Then we have to spend an energy at the end of the day. Well, we don't have an energy, but we do have 2 carrots. So we can immediately eat those 2 carrots, turn that into an energy, and then place that there. And then we would shuffle everything in the future. So we take our future cards, and we would shuffle them up. And now our future is our present, and we start day 2. And that's it. That's how this game works. There are branching choices you have to make as you go further and further, but you get the idea. So, what do I like about this game? The first thing I'm going to say is the art is beyond adorable. Now, I'm not going to flip over a ton of these cards just in case you wind up getting this game, so I spoil as little as possible. But this art here is art that are on some of the cards, so I can share those. And this little bunny is just the cutest little thing out there, and I adore this little bunny. And along with that, as you go through each chapter, sometimes you run into the same card. Like, for example, there's Mr. Deer's shop. And It's a shop, you can imagine what it does. But in Chapter 0 and in Chapter 1, the art's actually different, which I think is just awesome that they didn't recycle the art. They have new assets for each card, and they all look fantastic. To go along with that, I think they've done a very good job of telling a story without words. There's a few sentences here and there, but when you get to these little comic books here that kind of tell you what happened overall, it tells you the story without words. And so, anyhow, I love the art. As far as the mechanics of the game go, I really like it. It's so simple, but I like this. This is the future. Here's cards. You've done it. You've made your choice. You're never going to see those again. And here's what's coming in the future. And in your present, you can make the choice to be done with something, or no, I'm going to deal with that again in the future. You're going to put off your chores or whatever it is. And no, well, they're going to come back. You're going to have to deal with that. Fantastic. Same thing with these cards here. You can get these habit cards. For example, exercise. And that's something that you can do. Well, you're going to go jogging and you're going to feel better about yourself. You're not going to be as afraid. You'll lose some fear and you'll gain energy. And whoosh, that's going to go into the future. You're going to deal with that again. At the same time, I like that those habits are truly habits because you carry them over into the next chapter. Awesome. And so all of that I enjoy. I will also say that I am intrigued by the story. Now, it's clearly a story meant for younger people, I think. And as I got to the end of the comics, I'm like, oh, I think I see what's happening. But it's just so cute. It is so adorable. I want to know what goes on. My wife played it with me, and she wants to know what's going to happen with this little tiny bunny. And it's really a fun thing. And even in the 2 short chapters that I've gotten to see, you can actually see Eila is growing. One of the things that happened early on is some apples fell out of a tree and hit her on the head, and it scared her. Well, my understanding is as you go further and further into the story, this bunny's going to be able to cast spells with magic stones and stuff. And we were talking about it, and we're thinking, man, we don't want that bunny to have spells. I mean, that bunny's scared of apples. But clearly, there's a growth. And at the end of the first chapter, the bunny was a little bit braver, a little bit more bold. And I think it's a well done story. I'm intrigued. I'm impressed. So what are my quibbles about the game? And I'll start with, for an adult, I don't know that there's a ton of replay value here. I can see how, as later chapters develop, there will be more branching storylines. You'll be making more and more choices about what cards you are bringing from here into the deck that you'll see, what cards you bring from here into the deck that you'll see, and which ones you just never get to see because you've made certain choices. So I can see that, but I don't know how much of that there will be. So I don't know that there's a ton of replay value that goes with it. And then I will also say this is not an action-packed game. You're doing a little bit of resource management, but for the most part, you're just flipping cards, seeing, and you're making a choice, left or right, grab a few things, move on. And if you're looking for a game that is high adventure, this really isn't it. This is more about telling a story. So that's just something that you should keep in mind. That's it, folks. I mean, that is Eila and Something Shiny. I think if you are someone that has children and you enjoy doing stories with your kids, reading books with your kids, I think this is a can't miss. I think in many ways it kind of teaches little lessons, like this idea about forming good habits and putting off chores, you have to do it again. Like, those are good lessons for kids. And at the same time, even though I said that I don't think the replay value is particularly high for an adult, I do think it is for a child, because I know there are plenty of children out there that like to hear the same story over and over again. And that's what this can be. This can be a story that they're telling with this bunny, and they can play it over and over again. And I think a younger child, the small variances will be really engaging. They will want to go back and play over and over again. So I'm really pretty high on this game. I think this is a game that has the potential to be a whole lot of fun. It's something that I'm definitely excited about getting and playing through the rest of the story. And there are several people in my life that have younger children. I'm definitely going to encourage them to also check this thing out because I just think it's a delight. It is sweet, it's delightful, it's fun, and it tells an interesting story. So, there you have it, folks. If I made any mistakes in the rules explanation, please be sure to let me know in the comments with a timestamp, and I'll get that into the KLINGON subtitles. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.